Good morning, welcome to day one. 3:30, just been picked up. Dennis is here.
Hiya.
And we're on our way. Next stop, we'll see yous in Calais. Cheers. Well, that's us, just come out of the Eurotunnel, on the motorway heading down south to our first cemetery. And as you see, weather pretty decent, bit cold outside, but on the motorway. And we'll see you when we get to our first cemetery in about... Hi, well, we've arrived at our first cemetery, Wimreux. It's on the coast, just north of Bologna. As you see, it's a communal cemetery, and we are heading down to the war memorial bit. As you can see, a couple of Canadian flags flying, Canadian and the Union flag. As we see, a lot of all the stones are actually laid flat and not standing up. And at this cemetery, we've got a couple of footballers. One Arthur Badesworth and a John Thornley. Arthur, he played for Leicester, Newton Heath, Preston North End, Swindon, and John Thornley, he played for Glossop. So what we'll do is we'll find their gravestones, pay our respects. So we found our first footballer, Arthur Badesworth, who played obviously for Leicester, Newton Heath, which later became Man United, and we've paid our respects to him. And the final footballer we found, Private John Thornley of Glossop. So we're here, as I say, we've paid our respects to the cemetery. This small little cemetery in a communal of the village of Wimreux. It is a beautiful little cemetery, very quiet, peaceful, and as you see, flags flying with the cross. And as I'd said earlier, the stones are actually all laid flat. I'm going to say it's probably due to the wind, because it is quite windy here. It may well be that they've laid them all flat rather than having them standing upright. But we've paid our respects and we'll be moving on to our next destination. So just arrived at our second cemetery. Please ignore my pronunciation, I will try my best, but it is the Drenlinsham British Cemetery. Again, another little cemetery out of the way, but very, very, very beautiful. It's not, I would say it's not one that's visited on a regular basis, but it is very, very stunning. And what we're doing here, we have got the first of our Bellahouston boys is buried in this cemetery, and along with some friend from the Coatbridge War Memorial, where we've got to pay our respects to them as well. So we'll go in here, we'll find the Bellahouston boy, and then we'll say a few words. So we're in the cemetery at the moment. We are just looking for the soldiers that we are paying our respects to, but I just thought I'd take a little video of this, give you an idea of the cemetery and the vastness of it. Very, very beautiful cemetery, but a little bit out of the way, so if you do get a chance to come here, I would advise. It is beautiful. So, found which is here, and
was the son of Mr. James Duncan, 33 Carlisle Drive, Cardonald. He was a pupil in the academy till 1912, when he moved to Cardiff, where he finished his education. At the age of 18, he joined the RAF as a cadet and was transferred to the Machine Gun Corps. At the end of June 1918, he was sent to France. In less than 4 months, he was admitted to hospital suffering from blood poisoning caused by barbed wire. He did not recover and died at Romereux, a former pupil of Bellahouston Academy, Glasgow.
so we've laid a little plaque there. As I said, Dennis reading out the inscription on it, so if you are in the area and you do, please come along and pay your respects to Andrew Duncan, as we have done. So arriving here at Boulogne Eastern Cemetery, Again, another stunning cemetery as we walk in. Got quite a few to visit here. There's a couple of footballers, a VC winner, and also there's another Bellahouston boy, which we will be going to lay a little plaque at. Also doing another stuff for John and the Coatbridge War Memorial. This is Captain Frederick Cambro, VC winner. Paying our respects to him. He was a very brave man. He fought the enemy back, but was mortally wounded, and he was removed here to Boulogne, where he sadly died 4 days later after being shot. This gentleman here, Albert Hartshorn of the South Staffordshire Regiment, very renowned footballer, played for Villa, Aston Villa, Port Vale, Northampton Town, Southampton, Stoke and Wolves, before sadly dying on the 10th of February 1915. So here we are, Captain R.H.N. Hans, otherwise Reggie Hans, South African international cricketer, renowned. So the final footballer here at Bologna Eastern Cemetery is a Robert Craig. Scottish footballer who played, even though he was with the South Wales Borderers, he played for Abercorn, Brighton, Celtic, Kilmarnock and finishing his career with Morton. Sadly passed away here on the 19th of April 1980.
Lance Corporal James A. Millen, 21, and Lance Corporal John Craig Millen, 20, both of the Glasgow Highlanders, were sons of Mr. and Mrs. James A. Millen, 3 Carlton Gardens, Crookston. When John left school, he was employed by Messrs. Connell and Co., and like his brother, joined up in the First Fleet of the War when he was only 17. He saw service in France, and in December 1916 he was invalided home, suffering from trench foot. After 4 months in hospital, he again joined his battalion in France. He was seriously wounded in action near Newport on the 30th of August 1917 and died in hospital at Boulogne. His brother James was amongst the missing at Highwood on 15th July 1916. Later, he was officially reported killed in action on that day and is remembered on the Deepval Memorial.
So we're here in Boulogne Eastern Cemetery. Beautiful cemetery, very, very windy, as you probably heard with the video. I'm standing in a little sheltered area, but I will say, as much as it's very pretty and sombre, a lot of the stones, whether it's the wind and the rain that blows through here, a lot of the names are starting to fade on the stones, and hopefully the Commonwealth Graves Commission will take that to hand and get these sorted, because we did struggle to find some names, but we eventually found everybody that we were here to see and pay our respects to, and we'll be moving on. Well, we've now reached Etaples Military Cemetery, and I do believe this one is a very, very large cemetery, probably the biggest one we've visited so far. And I will just, as we come in through the gate, so we come in through the gate, the pathway up to the cross. I think I'm going to be quite in awe of this one. We did pass, as we came through the entrance, there was you could see over the side to the hillside, and it just looked in awe, and yeah, I do believe. So bear with us on this one as we take you on a tour down Etaples Military Cemetery, and as you see as we come here, it is awesome and very, I will do you as we take the tour right round it. of columns at each end. And as we come from the top of it, the scale is, how can I say, it just gets you. I think the word I'll use, it gets you. The scale of the size of this cemetery. It's one of the larger ones on the sort of coast before you move into the Somme area. Over here we're looking for, I think we've got about 5 footballers, a cricketer, and of course there is a Bellahouston boy. He's actually buried here, which we'll go and find shortly.
Private Andrew Linton MacDonald, 22, was the son of Mr. and Mrs. MacDonald of 248 Paisley Road, Glasgow. He was a pupil of great ability and had every prospect of a successful career. On leaving school, he was employed by the National Insurance Commission in Edinburgh. On the 9th of September 1916, he joined the Argyll and Southern Highlanders, and after training was sent to France, where he transferred to the 6th Seaforth Highlanders. He was only 4 months with his battalion when, on the 31st of July 1917, he was wounded severely in the thigh. He was removed to the hospital at Etaples, where he died from his wounds.
So we paid our respects here to Andrew MacDonald in this vast cemetery, and to give you an idea of how vast it is, as I bring up the camera and you see, and I bring it round, it is just row in row of headstones, as far as you can look and see. We are going to try and find the footballers here as well. I think there's a VC winner. Not far from the Bellahouston boy Andrew MacDonald, we've come across George Gibb, footballer who played all his career with 3rd Lanark. Just as the sun comes out here in France, we have found a Hugh Kerr, footballer, played for Ayr and also Manchester United, and was part of the London Scottish Regiment. Here we have another footballer, Sergeant Major Richard Wynne, who was a footballer before the war with Chester, Everton and then Middlesbrough. This gentleman, South African cricketer Reggie Schwartz, he won the Military Cross, and as you can see by his death, he actually died a week after the war ended, and on his day. So, another footballer we have here, Walter Eaton, who played for the Wednesday, which I believe went on to become Sheffield Wednesday. The only VC winner in this vast cemetery is Captain or Major Douglas Reynolds, who won the VC. He won it in 1914, where him and 3 others all won VCs for a daring rescue of some soldiers. He later died, as you see, in 1916. Not far from the VC winner Douglas Reynolds is this footballer, 2nd Lieutenant Harold Bamford, who played for Glossop and Southampton. So as we're leaving Etaples Cemetery, or Military Cemetery, I do believe most people, they do the Somme, they go to the big ones, Thiepval, things like that, cemeteries round there. Same way Ypres as well, where you go to the Menin Gate, Tynecott. And I would say, coming here, you must, if you are doing a visit to the cemeteries, I would say this is a must. You must come here. It's the most stunning, heartwarming, heartfelt cemetery that you can actually come to. Just standing on the top of the hill as you hear with the wind blowing, it's just vast and so sad. So we've now arrived at Wavans British Cemetery. Rather small cemetery, very stunning, in the middle of farmland. All around us is all we got. It's in the middle of technically nowhere. We've got wind has dropped as well, so hopefully the as I get Dennis in the way there. How you doing, Dennis?
Sorry, sorry.
So here we are, we're coming up to this, and we're here. There's a VC, would you believe it? This is the cemetery, very small, and there's a VC winner in here, and quite a famous VC winner, but maybe you don't know about him. Speak to you as we get on and find his grave. So we found his grave. It's Major James McCudden. He very decorated, the most decorated flying ace of World War One is buried here, and he had a 57 enemy shoot downs of enemy planes. Amazing statistic if you think about it. That most people, when you talk about flying aces of World War One, the first thing you say is the Red Baron. But I believe, obviously, this gentleman here, James McCudden, is probably up there with him, with 57 confirmed shoot downs. Technically the most decorated airman in World War One. And to say that he's buried in a cemetery where there's only, I think it's 44 graves in the middle of nowhere. We're probably about an hour from Arras, about 40 miles from Arras and Albert, and as you see, in the middle of nowhere. This is what this journey's all about, visiting these small places, finding, paying my respects to these soldiers, these airmen, and I would take it that looking at it, there's probably been maybe an airbase somewhere round about here, because there's quite a few of them buried here are airmen. Some Royal Irish Fusiliers, Royal Air Force, the Royal Air Force, so we have quite a few are all part of that. Well, we've now arrived officially on the Somme. We are on the Somme, and the first one we're coming up to, like a walk down the hill here to Bertram Court Military Cemetery, where we'll be paying respects to a few fallen in here. So we're at this is it, the heart of the Somme, as we head towards Albert. Again, wind still cold.
William G. Bell, son to Abraham and Charlotte Bell, 33, Cumberland Street, Shankill Road, Belfast. He enlisted in the 9th Battalion Royal Irish Rifles in 1915 and was sent to Boulogne, France in October 1915 for winter training. At the start of March 1916, the 36th Ulster Division, including William, were sent to the front line. While on the front line at Boussat, between Calais and Calais and Batrincourt, he was shot in the head by a sniper and died 2 hours later without regaining consciousness. He was 22 years old.
We're now in the small village of Bertram Court, and as you see, a memorial over there is the French memorial to the falling of World War One. And as we bring it round, this is the Linfield Memorial to the footballers of Linfield FC who perished in World War One. Beautiful little memorial, and it's our first memorial of this trip, and as you can see, a lot of people have been here to pay their respects to those footballers of Linfield FC. I'll stay on this for a little bit if you did want to read it. Or again, if you want to pause on it, you can pause it and actually read the whole bit of it. And as I pull away, you'll see football with the soldier on top. And the two lions with to balls. Very beautiful, well maintained memorial, and we'll be moving even further into the Somme area. So here we've pulled up to, and this is where my probable pronunciation of French will go a little bit wayward. I'm going to go for it. Wallon-Bellion Communal Cemetery and Extension. I believe that is. We're here. We have one of our Bellahouston ex-pupils here who we're going to pay our respects to. Quite a large one, as you say. Over the far side there you have got the communal side of it, but also the crosses that you see, they're also French soldiers that actually fought and died and are buried in this military side of it, along with all the Commonwealth, the British and Commonwealth. Again, very, very windy here, so hopefully you can hear what I'm saying, but that is Wallon-Bellion, and hopefully I've said that correct.
Second Lieutenant James Ritchie Laird, son to Mrs Marion Laird, 3 Grace Drive, Govan. Being a part territorial, he enlisted in November 1914, a few months after the outbreak of war. He was commissioned on the 23rd of October 1915. During the Battle of the Somme, he was wounded at Highwood and later died. Before war, he was a part-time ship joiner, a former pupil of Bellahouston Academy.
So here we are at Vilnius Bretonnex Memorials and Cemetery, the Australian. It's where they're going to be holding the main Anzac Day service this year. Will be held here. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on, tents being erected, lighting, where they're obviously going to be doing the service, which is next Thursday. We won't be here for that. We'll be in the Ypres area for that, for Anzac Day. This is one of the main Australian cemeteries and memorial. We will be heading up there shortly. As you see, there's a party already on the way up there, and we'll sort of leave that and come up. So as we're walking up, a little bit of a climb there. It does catch your breath, especially when we get to the top of the hill and this wind's blowing, but hopefully it sees that a little bit as we're heading towards the Australian Museum Memorial. So as I said, it's a lot different from when you'll be visiting this, obviously because of Anzac Day. Tents, marquees erected everywhere. Got a lot of dignitaries turning up as well for this. I think a lot of Australian dignitaries will be here as well. So a lot different. Flags, no flags up at the moment, due to obviously getting in preparation for next Thursday. So we're here standing in the main bit of it, and that tower is very, very impressive. So it has taken away a little bit with all the seats, but the memorial wall there and all the lighting, but you've got to accept that obviously a very important day, Anzac Day, but it has taken a little bit away from the sheer size of this memorial, due to the lighting rigs and the seating, but still very, very impressive. And that tower is just, to see it, it is quite. So we found the VC who is buried here. There is also one on the wall, but we can't really get to the wall due to the rigging and whatever else. So with this one, Jean Brilliant, he actually rushed the German lines twice, and him and his platoon squad captured over 150 prisoners. He done it 3 occasions, but was sadly shot, wounded, and died of his wounds, and hence why he was awarded the VC for his actions that day. Staying with the Australian theme, as we've moved away from Vilnius, we've come to the Adelaide Cemetery, just down the road from the main one. As we go in here, reason we've come here up the pathway is there's actually one of the Bellahouston boys is buried here. So we'll head up on in and we'll go look for him.
Gunnar William McCrone Patterson was the youngest son of Mr and Mrs A.B. Patterson, 6 Edmondson Drive, Ibrox. He was serving his apprenticeship as a chartered accountant when, in April 1915, he joined the Queen's Own Royal Glasgow Yeomanry. After training at Rumgalley, Camp Cooper and in Essex, he was transferred to the Dragoon Guards and later to the RFA. Proceeding to France, he was posted to the 298th Brigade attached to the 2nd Australian Division. On the morning of August 8, 1918, he was killed in action at Villers-Bretton, aged 20, a former pupil of Bellahouston Academy, Glasgow.
Well, we are further south that we are going to be, and yeah, there's a trek. Now, I'm going to just show, there is a cross somewhere up on that hill, which is where the cemetery is. So this is further south we are. Caox, I think it's called Caox military cemetery. Walking up this dirt track. We're going to drive up it, but we didn't know if there was a turn that we could get back down. So yeah, walking up, hiking up here, where we'll go and look for the Bellahouston boy that is actually buried here. So I think we've made it almost to the top, where just getting up these stairs we will be hopefully at the cemetery. There we go, it's in the distance. So I think it's Caox Military Cemetery. Again, I do apologise for my French pronunciation, not the greatest. So almost there as we head to find, I think it's George Anderson, who was once a pupil of Bellahouston Academy. So made it to the cemetery. This one is well out of the way, up in a hill, and this is the furthest south we're going on this trip, and we've found him.
Private George Small Anderson, son of Mr and Mrs Anderson, 148 Crossland Road, Govan, Glasgow. He enlisted in August 1915. After he received his training at Gales and Ripon, he proceeded to France in January 1916. He was severely wounded on April the 1st, 1917 at Savay near Saint-Quentin and died the next day. For his gallant conduct in his last fight, he received the military medal. A former pupil of Bellahouston Academy, Glasgow.
So here we are, this is Heath Cemetery. Now we've still got quite a few to do, but I think just being such a long day, we are going to call this our second last of the day, and we'll do one more after this as we're on the way to Albert. This one, we've got 2 VC winners here, both of them Australian, and both of them, it being Anzac Day in a few days time, we thought we'd come and pay our respects to the both New Zealanders who won VCs here at the Heath Cemetery. As I said, we'll do one more. We are getting a bit tired. There's a few that we've missed, but we will pick them up over the next day or two before we leave the Somme area. So that was, as I said, Heath Cemetery, where we paid our respects to 2 Australian VC winners. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be heading more closer to Albert. We will pick up one more cemetery, maybe even 2, but I think 1, as we're getting very tired. It's been a long day and been on the go since 3:30, and it is now 5:30. So going to head now back to the car and we'll see you shortly. So we're now going to call this our final post of the day, our final video, final soldier we'll be respecting, due to be, we're now been 14 hours on the road solid, and we're going to call it a day. So the final one today is Grovetown British Cemetery, where we've got a Bellahouston, former Bellahouston pupil here, and we've got a footballer as well, so we'll be looking for them. And then I say next stop will be Albert and the B&B, or the Airbnb, so yeah.
Private William Hood Campbell, only son of Mr. and Mrs. John Campbell, 3 Harley Street, Ibrox, Glasgow. He enlisted in November 1914 and was wounded in 1915 and spent a long time in hospital at Newcastle. There his skills as a violinist made him a general favourite in all the hospitals, and doctors and nurses welcomed him as a valuable helper. Early in July 1916, he went off again to France as a rangefinder. He was wounded on the 26th of September by a sniper in front of Morville and was removed to Mayalt, where he died 2 days later. He was 22, a former pupil of Bellahouston Academy in Glasgow.
Here we've got footballer Henry Cook, who played for Middlesbrough, one club man, so to speak, before he came to fight here in France. Good evening. Well, as I say, day one completed, and what can we say? Absolutely knackered. Now, obviously we set a target, very high target of visiting 20 cemeteries in today, especially considering we left at 3:30 AM this morning. But we managed to get 16 done. So only missed 4 of the cemeteries, which hopefully over the next couple of days, we will pick it up and get them in, and obviously get that recorded as well. As I said, very long day. We eventually got to the flat this evening around about 7 o'clock. And that's from sort of 3:30 AM leaving Kent. So again, amazing trip. Just Etapolis, visiting that and the vastness of it, to the small Wavens cemetery in the middle of nowhere where there's only 44 souls buried there. It's been quite an amazing first day, with another 7 to go, and it's been relatively hassle-free, no issues at all. I think the only disappointing thing was Vilnius Bertrand, where we went to, and obviously we're setting up for Anzac Day. Did take a lot of away from it with all the rigging, you know, all the guys setting up, shouting about rigging, cabling, wherever. It just took the whole bit away from it. But that's no negative. It's just for us, we felt we wanted to be there at the memorial, paying our respects, and you couldn't really do that through that. So I'm just about ready to head to bed. I think Dennis is already in bed. Absolutely sharp. I'm going to upload this video, so hopefully you enjoy it. If you've not already subscribe to it. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a comment if we're doing it. I say it was very windy today, so please bear with it. Try and listen to what we said. There was a lot of it that was cut out because of the strong winds and the cold weather. Bit of the same tomorrow, but hopefully the wind will ease off a little bit and it'll be a little bit warmer for us. But hopefully you enjoy, and we will do it all again tomorrow. Tomorrow we're in the east side of Albert and the Somme. We'll be covering every sort of areas around that. So please enjoy, thumbs up, and good night.